Gives an insight into what he does. So please have a massive, massive round of applause to Daniel, TheAspieWorld. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Andy. Thanks a lot, man. Thank you. So much. Cheers, buddy. Thanks.
You want to hold it a bit away?
Yeah, no, it's cool. Thanks, man. Well, that's a lot of people. How's it going? I'm Dan. And I run a YouTube channel, actually, so it's actually called vlogging, not blogging. It's actually evolved now, the terminology, so you're outdated. Dinosaurs doing jobs with kids. So anyway, I'm going to try and squash, I think it's like 20 minutes, half an hour or something, and just try and squash it all into this. I have ADHD, so it does actually help when trying to condense an hour and a half talk into just half an hour, so it's going to be really, really good. So if anybody can't keep up, just ask me a question and I should be able to answer it. Anyway, so, whoa, it wasn't me. Gee. Anyway, so I'm really professional, so I'm going to read my notes from my iPhone because that's how I do. I'm also recording it for my actual video blog here, and I'm actually recording it for my podcast. I have to stand still because this thing's going to break. So, TheAspieWorld is my brand name. My name is actually Daniel. I'm actually 30? I was going to say 20. I'm 32 years old. I was diagnosed with Aspergers Syndrome, ADHD, and OCD and dyslexia when I was 26 years old. Not from lack of trying, just for lack of opportunity because the 90s sucked. So, moving forward, I decided to research stuff on the internet about Aspergers Syndrome, and I couldn't find much at all, actually, apart from the National Autistic Society's website, which wasn't anywhere like it is now. So I just found that there was nothing visually entertaining, and I don't really read that well. Obviously, dyslexia, #YOLO. So I decided to make videos blogging my life, because I felt like it would be really fun to put videos out there about something quite interesting, because for the simple fact, the videos I did see on the internet was really depressing, and everyone wanted to die. Everyone was like, oh, I've got Aspergers Syndrome and everything sucks. And I was like, oh no. So I wanted to do something really positive, because I feel like there's a really good positive atmosphere for people who have an autism spectrum condition, but wanted to do something awesome with it. So I was like, yeah, let's do it, be the driving force. And nobody was really doing it back then. There's a bunch of people now, which is totally awesome. So my YouTube channel won 2 awards. It won an award from YouTube itself, which is called Next Up, where they basically took all the channels between 1,000 and 100,000 subscribers in the United Kingdom, and they picked the best 10. And I came out as number 1, and then they basically, like, you know, gave me this award and gave me some money and all this cool stuff, and they wined and dined me in London. That was cool, but it was just nice to be recognized for the work I was doing. The other award I won was a blog award. I was number 9 out of 40 autism blogs. Obviously NAS was number 1, but I came up with number 9, which is pretty cool. And currently I am the UK's biggest autism channel on YouTube. I have 82,000 subscribers to my channel. I have over 5 million views, which is pretty dope, because, like, there's a lot of people listening to what I have to say. So that's, yeah, the power is crazy, it's craziness. But I love it, and I love the fact that I get to do what I do, because I feel like it's influential. I'll get into what I do right now. One of the things that I see that I do on my channel is I empower people, especially people on the spectrum, to be more aware of their creative side and how awesome they actually are, because I feel like a lot of people get a bit of a backhand slap because they say, you know, they got autism and they think, oh, you know, because I'm autistic, then I have restrictions in my life to stop me doing stuff, which I think is tosh, because there are other ways to do awesome things. And I'll get onto what I can do right now. So I left school with no qualifications at all, because in school I was in the special education programs, but they made me circle tennis rackets instead of, like, actually doing, like, maths and stuff, because they didn't understand my learning type, which is very important. Now, since then, I have a degree in chemistry. I am an international best-selling author in 3 languages, and I also released I released an album in Japan with my band. I got to number 5 in the HMV charts, which is crazy, right? But I left school with no qualifications. My YouTube channel, the biggest one in the UK for autism awareness, and yeah, 82,000 subscribers. So for somebody who had no qualifications, that's pretty decent, because I realized my potential of the things that everybody else thought was, like, you know, not potential when you're in school. So I decided that making a YouTube channel, blogging these things, would help encourage other people to do the same thing, and I thought that was super, super awesome. Enough of blowing my own trumpet. So what I'm trying to do is I blog all these things because I say, like, everybody could do something amazing. So one of the things I like to do is encourage younger people who are watching my videos to pick up something awesome. So people say to me all the time, they go, oh, Dan, you know, you're on here talking rubbish all the time on the internet and you make a living from it, because it's my job, it's full-time, it's what I do full-time, so I'm recording all this stuff, you know. And they say, how'd you do it? I was like, well, because I'm obsessed. I'm stupidly obsessed with search engine optimization. I love it. I love the Google Smart Brain. I didn't realize I loved algorithms so much until I did a degree in chemistry, and then it became like this thing. It's like my best friend. So I decided, and this is a true story. my YouTube channel was rubbish. I had like maybe 10,000 subscribers in November of 2017, and I decided I wanted to really supercharge it. So I thought, what am I good at? I'm good at focusing, hyper-focusing, doubling down on something very interesting. And I just love the Google algorithm. It's amazing. It's called Google Smart Brain. It's just phenomenal. Anyway, I know, it's boring, right? So SEO, search engine optimization, something that nobody really cares about, an algorithm. So what are you talking about? So I would used to watch all these channels. I'd stay up late at night watching all these channels. My girlfriend would be like, are you going to bed? I'm like, no, I've got stuff to research. And this is totally me. And I researched all this stuff, and I was watching a YouTube channel called Video Influencers, a huge channel talking about all these experts who grew their channel, remarkably well, and all these hacks and these experts. And I was like, whoa, these guys are gods. And this is a true story. In June of 2018, I actually went out to America to a video conference called VidCon, which is the biggest one in the world. There I was interviewed by video influencers on my ability to grow my YouTube channel, and I became one of those experts I just like months earlier had been watching late at night, which is crazy. So I say to these people who message me, say, Dan, I've got Aspergers Syndrome or whatever, and I feel like I'm not going to do anything. I say, what are you into? Pokemon. Awesome, so am I. But you could be the biggest Pokemon blogger in the world, and there's nothing wrong with that. And so I kind of encourage these people to say, the things that you may seem pointless, like playing Rocket League until all hours of the night and being the #1 person to play, Rocket League or Minecraft in the world and being an expert at it could really pay off, and that's an amazing skill. So my YouTube channel is taking people from feeling down about their condition to being empowered and being awesome. Now, my YouTube channel also does two things. Well, it empowers people on the spectrum to say, look, I'm doing it. Look at this. Look at the stuff I've managed to do, right? I'm dyslexic. I got a best-selling book. What on earth is going on? You know what I mean? And geez. So I say to these people, if I can do it, anybody can do it. There's nothing stopping anyone. Just like the awesome story this lady was performing about, changing the way the club works. It's just phenomenal. You know what I mean? It's just amazing. It's all down to focus. And one of the things that people on the spectrum are really into is hyper-focus. I love it. I love learning about aliens and stuff like that. But hyper-focus is kind of like when we're walking, me and my girlfriend walk down the street, which I don't like to do because, people in the street. So we're walking down the street and then I pass something, I'm like, whoa, what's this? It's like a piece of electronic equipment. I was staring at her for ages. She's like, come on down. I'm like, no. It could be, I just wonder where it's from. I wonder what it's doing. How did it get here? Who made this? I wonder if I could change it. I wonder if I back engineer it. I could probably use it for something else. But actually, I could make a piece of art of it. No, I'm going to blog it. She's like, what are you doing? And I'm thinking about the most amazing things in the world because that's how my brain works. And I feel like if I encourage people to do that, then we'll have more amazing things in the world. And I feel like without people on the spectrum doing crazy, cool things, we wouldn't have Apple or Albert Einstein or anybody cool like that, right? So that's one of the things. I empower young people or anybody really on the spectrum to really be themselves and do something amazing because I just love that stuff. And the other thing that my channel does is it educates people who are neurotypical, which isn't a weird expressional term, but you know what I'm talking about, people who are not on the spectrum, in the daily life for me, how I do things, I interview other people. It's not just me talking about my experience, because the spectrum is an individual, which we should never forget. So I interview other people on the channel, and I actually travel the world talking to other people, and that's kind of cool. And I love sharing the stories and the diversity of the community so that people watching that to digest information for educational, academic purposes feel like, whoa, I can actually digest information without wanting to kill myself. So that's kind of cool. Sorry, bad joke. Was that a joke? I don't know. So, so I talk about my experiences and I create understanding, and I help promote the change in society. So one of the things I'm really big on is they're changing the way society looks at people. Because growing up, everyone's like, when they say, "Why are you freaking out?" I went to VidCon. Yeah, I was doing a show at VidCon. I play music as well. I'm a multi-musician and I play a lot of different instruments. Self-taught because I was bored, so I decided to learn instruments. And I ended up playing in a band with this guy who is he's a movie star from America. He's in American Pie and things like that. He's one of the main actors, but he's a good friend of mine. And he decided, hey, do you want to play in a band? I said yes. I went to Comic-Con, which was a bad idea, here in Wrexham actually. And it was the biggest thing I've ever attended in my life. And then I just freaked out and had this crazy meltdown. Now people say oh, why? What's wrong with you? I'm like, well, nothing's wrong with me. I'm on the spectrum. And they say, you're not Rain Man. I'm like, what? So my idea, seriously, you say to me, oh yeah, so I'm on the spectrum. What's that mean? I'm an autistic person. And they go, what? Oh, you're not like Rain Man. You're like my friend's kid is like this, and you're not like them. And I'm like, Yeah? What? So in my idea of people, the society sees people a certain way, and that's a bad condition to be in on the way people see autistic individuals. So what I'm trying to do is change that perspective to being a bit more open, a bit more diverse, and a bit more like of understanding and accepting that people aren't going to be copy-paste, which is a difficult task. And one of the other things I'm doing, I campaign for change in things like I can't stand going to Tesco for 2 reasons, right? Because it's Tesco. No, that's just a given. But the number one reason I don't like going to Tesco is I go to Tesco and I go, okay, I'm obsessed with silly things like organic food. I love it. Obsessed with it. Tesco, great organic range. I don't know why it's important, but I thought I'd mention it. So I go in and I say, right, the organic apples are here, this aisle there. Every day I go in there, boom, organic apples, go to the till, happy Dan. But then I go there one day, I'm like, oh, eggs. What the hell's going on? Why are the eggs here where the apples are here? Tesco! And it just it freaks me out because they change things so rapidly. I'm thinking, what is going on? Now they are doing it because they're trying to make a buck and changing things around, but it really destroys my pattern of my day, which is a true story. My whole day gets thrown because Tesco moved the apples, and that's a true story. It's happened on many occasions. Okay, I'm going to stay here. It happened on many occasions, and because of that, I want to be able to change the way the world lets people access its data, and data comes in different formats. Data like processing food and going through a supermarket. How do we process it? Process it in a neurotypical world? It doesn't work. So Tesco needs to stop changing things, and we're going to really advocate for that. And thank you. World Autism, the World Autism Awareness Week and the Autism Hour, which is great. Why is 1 hour all we're allocated? Goodness me. So that's another change. Yeah, thank you. So we're advocating for that. This is one of the reasons why I'm growing my channel to 100,000 subscribers before we move forward politically, because 100,000 is a lot of people to take forward for political change. And the other thing that annoys me when I go to Tesco is the lighting in this sucks. So they never really do anything to help people on the spectrum. We're turning the lights down, turn the music off for 1 hour this one day a year. It's like, oh, thanks a lot. So that doesn't really work. Which is great. It's a good start. I'm not saying it's rubbish. I'm just saying it's a good start, but we need more of it. So that's what I'm trying to do with the channels, advocate more of that. Just have a look at my notes here, talk amongst yourselves. Not really, I know what I'm doing. So, why did I choose YouTube to be the platform of my choice? Am I okay with time? Yeah, am I good? Okay. Because YouTube is a freedom of speech platform that encourages inspiration, and I love that. I love being inspired. You know, you watch those things, like those inspirational movies, and after you're like, yeah, I'm going to go and tear a book in half, because you feel so pumped. I love that, and I want to be part of that change. I want to be a part of the inspiration of other people. I love that. The second thing is that it's a creative message. Now, people on the spectrum are super creative, right? I don't know if I've never met anybody on the spectrum who's not creative, and I love it. Creativity is like, I don't know, it gives birth to all kinds of crazy stuff, and I love it. Like bridges, skyscrapers, airplanes, science, everything is creative. I love it. So YouTube is creative, and I love being able to be on a platform that encourages creativity. And the other one is that it makes people focus, because when you're watching a YouTube video, you have to really dedicate yourself to watching it, right? Now, when you're watching TV, like Hammerdale Farm's on, and you just kind of sit back and maybe make a cup of tea. But when you're watching YouTube videos, you really have to watch it, so you digest information in a totally different way, and that paradigm is amazing. It fascinates the hell out of me. But actually, right now, I'm actually moving into podcasting as well, because people want to come to my YouTube channel and watch 20 minutes of my video, but society sucks at the moment, so everyone has to work stupid hours to pay for like just the bare necessities to get through life, but they want to listen to my content, so I say, okay, fine, put it on a podcast and run to work, drive to work, whatever. Listen to it on the go, which is amazing. I just thought I'd mention that I have a podcast in case anybody's interested in listening to it. You can just type in Autism or Aspergers into any podcast network and you'll find me. It's like the number one, so that's kind of cool. So I did my talk all of last year on autism as a superpower, because I feel like people have, again, if you double down on that potential, like Kate who's like obsessed with Minecraft or Power Rangers could really double down and monetize the fact that they love Power Rangers. Like, what do you know about Power Rangers? Everything. There's nothing I don't know about Power Rangers. Great. Make a YouTube channel on it, be the biggest Power Ranger blog in the world, because there's billions of people out there who would love to see Power Rangers. Look, for instance, there's 1,300,000,000 active users on YouTube. That's a lot of people, so you have eyeballs everywhere, and I love that. And the superpower I want to, like, this is what I mean by what I do in my channel is blogging the things that I do. Like, how on earth did somebody who's dyslexic, I can barely spell my own name, how did I get a #1 best-selling book in the US and the UK, right? And how is it in like 3 languages and blah, 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 blah. There's ways around everything. I actually used a ghostwriter and dictated an audio file. Like, I spoke, and the sorry, the ghostwriter kind of just dictated that down into kind of written form, which was amazing, and I was able to edit it with him in real time, which is a means to an end, which is an amazing thing, because that shows that there was no blockade. Like, so somebody who's like, dyslexic, or maybe don't even have fingers to write a book, right, or sit down in pens or type things, they can dictate to somebody to do it. So there's always ways around that. The same with the way I did a degree in chemistry. I would never have been able to do a degree in chemistry without the support from Disability Student Wales, which is basically they had a program within the University of Bangor, where I went to help me actually go through different type of classes, and they made reasonable adjustments. Phenomenal, absolutely amazing. Unfortunately, they ran out of funding, which is abysmal, which is why I should all fault Labour. And so anyway, they ran out of funding, and they can't do that anymore. But without it, I would never be able to do my degree. But it's showing the people who watch my videos that, like, somebody who left school with no education was able to actually do something quite interesting. And I'm a scientist, and doing chemistry, what I didn't know getting into it was like the bloody hardest subject to do. So, but I enjoyed it, I loved it. The only problem is I felt like they gave me like little time to do what I wanted to do, because I got obsessed with things, I'm sitting looking at one thing like, oh, this is cool, isn't it? And then like, move on, next thing. I'm like, oh, shoot. Like, but that was, that's just a university for you, YOLO. Anyway, but yeah, writing my book again, and then building the YouTube channel. Building the YouTube channel from nothing, from the ground up, was interesting, hard work, but it was amazing, and I loved every second of it. Now, with YouTube specifically, that's what I want to talk about. So the statistics in America is 1 in 60 people are on the spectrum, right? And here currently is 1 in 100 people on the spectrum. Like, neurodiversity hits those people, probably a bit more actually. We've just got on statistical data that we actually can get our hands on, which is crazy, crazy amounts. So I attend VidCon, which is a huge conference, right? And I actually attend something like Summer in the City here in the UK. There's loads of different conferences for these kids who are watching YouTube videos, who probably, 1 in 60 of them in America, 1 in 100 here are on the spectrum. And they go to these places expecting to see people that they can relate to because it's a safe environment, but they go there and then there's nobody there because these places don't put on panel talks or any kind of activity that relates to the YouTubers in that panel. They have a disability panel, but it's always physical disability, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's great, but they never think about neurodiverse community or mental health disabilities, and never think about those things. So I was like, this sucks. Like, it really bugged the heck out of me. And I went to VidCon last year in America, and my YouTube manager was like, do you want access to the party, the VidCon party, a big huge party, all the celebrities in there, every YouTuber you can think of, the big ones that the kids watch. Yeah, I was hanging out with all of those people. But I was like, yeah, I'm going to do it. I don't like going to parties, but I'm doing this one. So I went there, and I went right up to the guy who owned VidCon. I was like, doo, doo, doo. It's like, Hank. He's like, yo, so you don't know me, but you're going to. I was like, listen, buddy, 1 in 60 kids out there don't get access to their heroes or the people that they want to see with an autism spectrum condition. We need to change it. And he's like, okay. So I teamed up with a girl called Jess from a channel called How to ADHD, and we got on really, really well. And she's got a big channel, so she had a huge influence. So we managed to persuade them in VidCon to actually allow us, it took us a year of constantly bashing them to allow us to do a neurodiverse panel this year in America, which is incredible. First one ever in the world, the biggest video conference ever in the world, which is nuts. So this is kind of like, all of last year I was saying that I wanted to do this, and now we're actually doing it. Now this is phase 1, and phase 2 is going to be rolling this out to every video conference in the UK and the US, but then it's going to be rolling out to every conference, because I feel like we're always left out, which really sucks, and that annoys me. But doing this, I just love it. I love it. I get up every single day. I'm like, all right, how are we going to kick butt and change the world today? And that's amazing. So I love doing all those things, and that is the kind of future of what we're doing. We're changing how organizations, big conferences, and things where people are actually accessing it. How do they have access to it? Because if you go back to like the 40s and 30s, wheelchair access for wheelchair users was like nothing, and there was no legal restrictions on it. You could just be like, oh, well, tough luck. Your wheelchair users are gutted. It's like, what? But now it's like legal statute. That's a serious offense if you don't. But when somebody is autistic and they say, I can't go into Tesco because it freaks me out, and there's many times I go to Tesco, I'm like, no, I'm not going in there. Or places like, look, I wanted to go and see Busted in concert. I don't know, I'm stupid, but I wanted to go see Busted. I bought tickets, and I was like, yeah, crashed the wedding, and then I was like, a week before, I was like, getting like really nervous, sweating, and then like the day comes, and I'm like, oh, I sold my tickets. I did. The first gig back from 15 years, Busted didn't get, and then I sold my tickets. Why? Because I was anxious about going to somewhere that didn't accommodate my neurodiverse needs, which I felt like, I was a pain, like, make it, accessible for me. But no, I was like, it should be accessible for me. It should be accessible for everybody. Isn't that what we are? We're a society of inclusive people. So anyway, that's where I'm going. That's what my channel's doing. This is why I'm doing what I do, and I love it. And I'm going to stop talking now. So thanks so much for listening to me, guys. Thanks a lot. Awesome. Cheers. Thank you.